It's the guys who can treat me. Hoping but your thoughts of rejection. If you're with me, I search you. How many your time is always taken. Keep singing you out on there's such a love that has finding with things I heard. Wishing to be your kiss. When your heart in my heart. Yeah, breaking in my heart. Of your friends, I don't mean nothing to you. Say something like the truth. Tell me right now, I know your heart is in the right place. No, I won't let you down. You'll get this time. Figure out. You, you make sense. Quit playing these alone. See what you're gonna be breaking. Time to take a piece of bed.
What it is, what it ain't, and what's it gonna be. Welcome. It's Tuesday. Tuesday edition, and you know what it is. It's time for the full 180. I'm yours truly, DJ TRWKY. Man, I missed you. Y'all miss me? I missed you. I definitely missed you, man. I missed the crew. I miss everybody. When I tell you we just busy, it's busy. School about to be over. People getting their refrigerators put together because these kids want to be at home. And the electric bill about to be a whole nother number. I ain't gonna say the number. I'm just gonna say a whole nother number. light bill, not only that, the grocery bill is going to be a whole nother number. And it's going to be, hey, mom, take me here, take me there, take me there, take me there. And some of us about to be on vacation. Man, but look, we appreciate you, man. You could be anywhere else in the world today, and you decide to check in with us today. So we definitely appreciate it. I'm not going to hold it up too much longer. We're going to get into it because we missed y'all. A couple things I just want to say before we get cracking. Hey, scan that barcode, man. You can become the full 180 family. What I mean by family, you'll get all the notifications. We'll send you everything that's going on with us. You'll see it first. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, wherever what we're doing and whatever's going on, you'll see where we are. When we get a chance to get outside during the summer, man, I kind of want to do it from a disclosed location. I'll talk to the crew about that, see if that's possible. And if so, man, we will definitely start doing a little video while we out. While we out and about, kicking it, let's just do a little video. And man, how you feel about this? Let's get some real insight. So that's the thing I would love to do this summer. You know what I'm saying? We playing God Land, but it'd definitely be cool to do. A couple things, still popping off. It is the R&B bingo on Thursday. We do karaoke, hosted by ADB, my sister, as well as the comedian himself, Big Husky, and we hanging out with Ben on ENT, which is my sisters, Divine and Tori. We get cracking. The first game starts at 8:30. If you ever play bingo, it's just that simple. R&B bingo. 5 in a row will get you $150 cash money and get you out of there, man. We have a good time. Then we have Feel Good Fridays. Now I'm doing something different for Feel Good Fridays. I'm incorporating. We have a band on June 7th. May 10th, May 17th, we're gonna do the best of both worlds. If you've never heard my brother Christopher Sax Mitchell play his saxophone, I'm telling you, you do not want to miss it. You plan a date that night. We're gonna get cracking right at 7:00. My brother will go on first, and then I'll DJ in between him. We call it the best of both worlds, Feel Good Friday. It's going to be a Feel Good Friday. Not only that, we will be celebrating our very own assistant principal, licensed LLPC. She got the paper hanging on her wall. Little Webby, it is official like a referee with a whistle. She'll do her graduation on May 17th. She'll walk across stage looking like $1,000,000 looking for it. Man, it has been a long road. And like I say, whatever we do privately, I like to do publicly. So, man, we are definitely proud of you. She's been in school ever since I know her. I was like, God, no. But when I tell you it's been a long road, there's been some obstacles. But that one right there, when she put God first, she ain't missed a beat. She's been gaining and gaining and gaining. I can't wait to see what's around the corner. I'm looking for the front. So y'all can lay down on the couch. So y'all can go talk a little bit, man. So once again, man, we're definitely proud of you, sis. Please understand that. Not only that, I got to put shouts out. I told my student I would do it. Of course, Mr. McGill, happy birthday. And of course, Hakeem be at school, she Miss Macbeth. Outside the school, we call her Quita. Happy birthday, T. One time for that birthday, T. Man, we just left celebrating her. Woo, when I tell you I'm tired. I'm ready for school to be over with. Have you ever just been irritable, irritated, you don't know why? Like you just you just start itching for no reason. You don't know why. I had that moment today, and I was like, "Oh, this kid." Then somebody else called my name one more time. I never thought I would be mad if people calling my name, but I kind of like it. But I got over it, man. We always have our little obstacles and whatever we do, but hey, man, we are here. We're ready to go and get it cracking. I can't never do it by myself, right? You got a family, man. This is it. Y'all just introduce the way. What's happening? What's happening? Can you not hear me?
Hey.
Oh, there you go. My bad.
You cutting in and out.
Oh, my bad. What about now?
And now I can hear you.
All right. Did you find you some people to work for you?
No.
No red folders.
No, nobody that was worth interviewing.
Oh, well, look, man, you're looking for a JLB, and you're a little special ed like she is. Hey, Duncanville is definitely hired now. Duncanville is definitely hired, man. Definitely hired. What's up, Mr. Lanier? Holla at your boy. Just in case you're listening, man.
Shout out to the City of Champions.
Hey, man, that's real talk. Can't say nothing else about it. Do nothing but applaud.
I mean,
Look,
they
man,
hired one.
they what?
They hired
What
one.
you say? They hired one. Oh, you talking about two? I thought you talking about the football team. I was
No.
like, yeah, that's a. That was a good one. I missed it. Yeah, it went right. Yeah, it went. Yeah, right over my head. That's it. That's it. But you right, City and Ten, and that other concubine, Crystal. Hey, Crystal.
She was there too.
Man, not only that. Oh, what's yeah, I should swung through the city. No, yeah, you know, we got our own piece of fine jewelry. Look, she don't come outside often. But when she come outside, I tell you, boy, fresh dressed like a million bucks. And she be smelling good. Not only our very own piece of jewelry, we call her Jewel JJ. God sent her. What's up, man?
What it do, y'all? How y'all doing tonight?
Hey.
I'm good. Man, look at you, bright eyed and bushy tail. That's how she looked when she came to my look. I said, okay, she was and then she came and hugged me like, hey, what's up? You was trying to find somebody now. You took a real good bath when you came up here. I don't know why, but I mean, it is what it is. But she smelled good. You know, it's nothing. I understand why women like real smelling good men. Because you women be smelling good. I'll be like, okay, I like that. It's better because last time, now, I'm going to tell the truth. We was at Barlow. I was at Barlow last weekend. Earl was out. You ever been like sweating and you don't know if it's you or the person you just hugged, and then you start checking yourself? Like I had to check myself. I was like, I know that ain't me. I know that it's not me. I was a little hesitant, but you know, I ain't gonna say no name. I was just like, ooh, that deodorant was not top. That deodorant was not worth. But that was on my way out anyway. But yes, Jules came through. We had a good time in Jules' room, man. Always good to see when she come through. I always got to smile on her face and just get a little break. So I get it. Man, not any further, man. Not last, definitely not least. Look, let me tell you something. When I started this probably 3 years ago, it was some OGs that was on the show. You hear me? And when I mean C. Carey, my sister, L. Boogie, Lisa, Bree, Dr. B, of course, Clint, the mayor himself, and this lady you see right now. This is none other than KC, three-time back champion. I'm going to say it. Kansas City Chiefs. KC Estelle, all the way from Kansas City, aka she the OG. What up, OG?
What's up, big guy? Hello, everybody. How's everyone?
Hello.
How are you doing, man?
I'm good. I have no complaints. Life is life, and I'm good about it.
Wonderful. So I'm going to put it out there. How is your grandbaby?
They are amazing. I love
Wonderful.
them.
Yeah, they spoil right. Ooh, they spoil.
Absolutely.
I know.
I spoil, they discipline. That's the job of a grandparent.
That's y'all. Take notes. Take notes for y'all who got grandkids. Take notes. That's your job. That's your job. Yeah. But yes. So other than that, man, let's get into it. Y'all, you know, I like to do a little icebreaker. You know, because I ain't seen y'all in a minute. So let's do a little icebreaker, right? So I got a couple things I'm gonna read to you. So let's start with this one. Hey, so I seen this, and you know, we was gonna play what we call agree and disagree, right? You know, we did this before. So this is what it says. Dear men, let me tell you a secret. Women don't want a good man until they are damaged. Good guys are never an option until a woman is tired of being played. Until a woman has kids with a guy that doesn't want anything to do with her. Until she gets old, until she wants a stepfather for her child. Until she wants a husband. Early in life, most women choose wrong guys. And then after those guys spit them out, having used them, now they want a good man. The same good guy they thought was boring. The same good guy they didn't want to talk to. Truth is good guys deal with damaged women, mentally, psychologically, and emotionally. Bad guys get the best years. Good guys deal with women with insecurities, women with anger and trauma. Don't get played, and that's why I say, let me update you when you start noticing certain behaviors from your woman. Class dismissed. Ladies, because I have my thoughts, but I want to hear from you. Agree or disagree? Anybody go first? Hello? Oh,
I don't really gotta I think I think it's kind of a hard answer to give. Like the good guys don't get play. I don't really know. I don't Good guys that are not always the aggressors, and they don't always take the initiative to go after girls. So they wait and they sit back in the cut, and you kind of notice them before they not necessarily you're more apt to approach them than them approach you sometimes, and bad guys, I don't say bad guys, just guys
Less
that
desirable.
I don't want to say they less desirable.
Well, I'm saying, well, less favorable. Like
less
I don't want to say
favorable.
that they're bad people. They're just
Yes.
less favorable.
Yes. And sometimes we are and early on, we know nothing about relationships, and we go after guys that look good to the eye, or that, have a certain they check those boxes that we talked about early on. They got the 666 thing going on, and they seem attractive, but they're not always, the best option for us. But I think as women, no matter who we date, we try to make it work. And sometimes in that effort to make it work, not realizing that the person that we've chosen is the best person for us, which can hurt us. And, some guys have to live with that, the aftermath of that, of being hurt. So anytime you hurt in any relationship, you're more reserved in the next relationship, because you're looking at to make sure that it's not the same as it was before, not necessarily damaged in a sense. We're less trusting in a sense, but I don't feel like that's a true or false statement, because if we had a good guy, then we'd be married to that person, forever.
So I think there is some validity to the statement. I do think that sometimes we choose wrong when we have a baby with people. I think sometimes we choose wrong, and I think sometimes we're sent the representative. And by the time we realize that that's the representative, it's 9 months later. So,
or sometimes you really don't know who the person is until you go through something with them.
I.e., 9 months later.
Yeah.
And then you realize, oh, snap, I probably shouldn't have had a baby with you.
Absolutely. So I would say let's define what a good guy is. And I say that because I wanted the bad guy. However, they didn't want me. So because I was a church girl, I stuck with the church guys, who you would assume were good guys. And they were bad guys. So that's what I had.
That's the representative.
Okay,
Lil Webby, we gonna go and less.
They call me Lil Webby for a reason,
right?
Less favorable. Let's be rolling with it. Let's roll with less favorable.
That part.
They were less.
It's too early. Look, comments too early.
Yeah, you can't comment in the comments. You got to comment with your voice.
Yeah, know it and don't know it.
That done set new rules, D. I tell every time.
Yes, they wanted to lay hands. Absolutely.
And get underneath the prayer cloth.
Absolutely. So
y'all gonna stop with the church references.
Well, but those are real things: laying hands, prayer cloth.
Absolutely.
I agree.
They were waiting on the doors to be open.
Waiting on the doors of the church to be open.
To drink the communion.
Absolutely.
Look at y'all. Look.
And
nobody want that old communion.
There you go. There you go.
Calling it Bible study.
Get them crackers. Look.
So what, DJ? What's your response?
So my response is I'm going to say some of what he said I disagree with. Why? Because we always talk about make sure you vet who you are dealing with. Now, my first thought when I read this, I was like, oh, he bitter. He just like we call women bitter. Oh, he's bitter. He's bitter. He's been done dirty. But I'm not going to kiss off the look and think he ain't getting nobody else there. See, sometimes women would say the universe catch up with you. So in some of this letter, I feel like, hey, bro, the universe done caught up with you. And something that you did many years ago has came back on you, right? Now, now let's go further. Now that could have happened, and then now he could be in what we call his healing journey, right? So now maybe he's feeling like this because maybe the girl that he wanted didn't want him, but she got somebody else and she got that baby, right? So now you feeling better. Oh, you'd have been with me. But who's to say it would have turned out the same way? Who's to say it would have truly worked out? Just because what I've seen in 2024, there are people who are in transition of being ready and wanting to put in the effort and ready to serve. And then you have others who just want to stay on the surface. So my thing is, when you start dealing in relationships and going towards marriage, you should start digging deeper. Meaningful things should if you ask me a question on why I'm here, it shouldn't be the same answer I gave you 2 months ago. You know what I'm saying? It should be a much deeper answer if you two are going to a much deeper place. But my first thought was, he bitter. Bro, I understand though. I've been there, done it. And I was bitter. That's all it was. I was mad because the girl I wanted didn't want me and she ended up dealing with somebody else. And now she ain't with nobody and I want to rub it in her face. I was real petty. But I was just like, bro, come on, bro. Some of this is true, but not all of it is true. I just cannot agree with it totally. Convo. Is he here? I seen him.
Yeah, can you hear me?
All right. Yeah, I got you. Go ahead, and then we're gonna move on to the next one and get right into the show.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I disagree. I think everybody got some great points here, even all the way down to communion, crackers and juice, the whole nine, right? The reality is, even good people were bad catches at some point, right?
Yeah.
Even as a husband today, like I wasn't always a great catch, right? And my crush didn't always want me. And so although my crush didn't want me, um, there is a sense of letdown that come with that, right? But if my crush go and have 3 kids with a guy and then come back and find value in me, my crush got to live with that decision, right? It ain't up for me. It ain't up to me to raise now your kids, uh, and be in a relationship with you because I once liked you. What you have now is going to require me to love you, and it's way beyond infatuation at that point. So it's yeah, I mean, that's just my thought. But yeah, it's nothing to be bitter about. It's just life. It happens.
Yeah, I'm with it. All right, let's move on to the next one. And now, trigger warning. This is why I put it up here. It might trigger you, it might not. And everybody know I hate that. So I don't hate it, I just dislike how some people use. Okay, here you go. A woman's new boyfriend just put hands on her. So she calls her child's father to come and defend her. The child's father immediately comes over, grabs his child, and then leaves without defending the woman against her new boyfriend because she's not under his protection anymore. Is he wrong? A, yes, that's still the mother of his child. B, no, he has no responsibility to protect her. C, yes, regardless of the child, he should protect any woman in their situation. And D, which one? Tell me if he's wrong and tell me what letter you go with.
Well,
Oh,
who's
I
D?
was talking to. Yeah, come on, anybody.
Say D again.
D is other.
Oh,
So I'll read it again. So the question is he wrong? And it says, A, yes, that's still the mother of his child. B, no, he has no responsibility to protect her. C, yes, regardless of the child, he should protect any woman in that situation. And D is in dog, other. Anybody can go first.
I'm
I'm
saying
go.
that's
Go
just
ahead.
me. I'm saying
I'm
see, the man should just be a man, period. Now, at the end of the day, there needs to be a conversation afterwards, after he done what he needed to do. If you stay with this man, I'm not gonna keep coming to your rescue. Because he didn't already let you know if he hit you already. So if he hit you again, yeah, I'm not putting my hands on him. But this first time, me being a man, well, I'm a woman, but him being a man, he should let him know, not my kid. Period, point blank. You already know. You already know. But no, no. But that's just me. So I'll go see.
Okay, next. Okay, see. Who, what's
Mine's gonna be D. Mine's gonna be
D?
D because I feel like it really ain't his responsibility to come and protect her anymore. That's not his role no more in their life, and he's not obligated to. Whether he does it or not is based on his character. But she shouldn't expect that. I think definitely he is right for coming and get his kid. Her first call should have been to the police. Secondly, to the baby daddy to come get the kid so that the kid is not, exposed any further to it and is protected. So that's my perspective.
All right. So we have D. Next. Sipping on scissor. Lil Webby.
Sit this dude left.
Oh, he did? Okay. Lil Webby, come on.
No, I'm just saying the dude need to be exited left. He put his hands on you.
Oh.
The police
Yeah.
and don't take them with you. Be out.
Yeah. Lil Webby, what you think?
I don't think a phone call should have been made to her child's father only for the reason for him to come and get her. Get the child. Period. And so my answer is B. No, he was not wrong for coming to get his child out of a dangerous or toxic situation. Now, if at that time he chose to quote unquote stand up for said woman, kudos to him. But his only obligation was to remove his child from that situation.
D? Excuse me,
You know
Dariana.
what? I was going back and forth, but I was gonna say E, all the above in some capacity. Here's the deal. Um, for the women, before I answer, I'm curious. What if that guy was your boyfriend or your husband, like, and he was going to his like the situation was with his baby mama? How would y'all feel about that situation?
Mm.
We can't hear
Jules,
you.
you're on mute.
I would be like, go get my baby. And then she need to call the police and they need to figure that out. And he can't go back until y'all figure that out.
Yep, pretty much it. Go get my kid. That's it. Matter of
Yeah, the
fact,
reason,
he ain't finna go get your kid.
yeah, the reason I say E, all the above. I said E because I think that it is his first responsibility to get his child, to make sure the child is safe, right? Secure the child. Mission one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Two, it is facts. It is not his obligation for him to protect the mom, but C, like find a way to try to neutralize the situation at some capacity, right? Because obviously I do care about my son, my son having his mom, right? Um, And there's various ways that you can go about neutralizing the situation. D, call the police. If they ain't gonna call the police, you call the police and get that baby up out of there. You know what I mean? Because last thing you need is for yourself to be caught up, in that situation, right? But yeah, man, it's a tricky situation, man. But the first like obligation is to that child, and as a man, obviously you wouldn't want the mother of your child putting your child into a situation like that, uh, and bring all of that drama into your child's life that way. That's just not cool.
Mm.
And you got to also think about it. If it was my husband or boyfriend that, had to go get the child from his baby mama, I don't want him wrapped up in that drama that's with the baby mama and their boyfriend either, because that could be brought to your house and create another security issue because you don't know what they got going on and you're not in the midst of it. It's better to just come secure the child, keep those boundaries in place, because then it becomes a whole nother thing. They get into it at 2:00 in the morning and it's another thing, and you always come in to defend and take responsibility for she grown. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
she got to make better decisions, and that has to be the conversation going forward. Is, man, you need to make better decisions. You not just for your life, but our child life. You know what I'm saying?
My next conversation is gonna be: do I need to give full custody, temporary
Exactly.
custody, until you get your stuff together?
Right. And like, y'all need to get that together, because I'm not sending my kid over here until y'all figure it out. You either need to exit him left, or he needs to not put his hand on you, at least around our children. If you're going to accept all that, like, you got to figure out what your responsibilities and your priority are. And if it ain't about putting our child in the best place possible, in the best position, protected and cared for, then you ain't lining up right.
And then my thought is, why was your first thought to call your child's father? But that's too many other questions that we ain't got time to go through that.
Here's the deal.
But real talk, I had that same thought period too. It was like, you called your baby daddy? And this is why. There was a story a long time ago about a good basketball player who his girlfriend and that young lady were good friends. Well, long story short, her dude acted a fool. She called her, he went over there with her, and during the course of this whole situation, the dude got killed.
Yep.
Trying to go over to help. It's just like, shouted. So my thought was, call the police first. You can call me, I'm coming to get my kid, but I ain't getting in the middle of that. Because what's gonna happen is when he walk up, of course, because some dudes, and B, tell me if I'm wrong, I don't know why you want to get liquid courage all of a sudden when the baby daddy walk up, right? And you're gonna say something smart. So I know before I go over here, I'm gonna have to be with the whole arm in my mind say, hey, where's the kid? I just want my kid. So let me get my kid so I can leave. Now, you call me, I'm gonna call loud, they're gonna be on the way with me. Because I'm gonna get my kid and I'm gonna bounce. So, whatever you got going on is what you got going on. That's you. And then I'm with me. After a while, we're gonna have to have a conversation, because this is something that's constant and something that keep going on. Sorry, Sean. We're going to remove my kid from over here. But go ahead. Who was going to say something? I'm sorry. I apologize.
I would say most men that beat women aren't fighting men.
You said most men.
Most men that beat women aren't even fighting men.
Correct.
That's right. Beating women.
And then so she called her child's father to come over there. He come get the kid, and all he gonna do is hit her again for calling him, bringing somebody in, and so then the saga continues.
That's why I said it needs to be a conversation. Like, if I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna take care of it, because the love I have for you, even if there's no physical altercation, even if you have to sit down with this man and have the talk, I'm not gonna keep coming over here. After that's done, we're gonna have a private conversation. I'm gonna say, this was your one time. Now, if you stay with him, I don't know how you're gonna handle it afterwards, but I shouldn't be the phone call you make.
And we always talk about setting boundaries. Shouldn't there be a boundary?
It is a boundary.
Well, you calling your ex dude, is that really setting the boundary or?
Well, he set the boundary after he went over there and did what needed to be done and then came home. That was the boundary afterwards. But hey, you know how people in boundaries are.
Gotcha.
It's not too many of
Gotcha.
them.
I just thought it was interesting because I've heard women say, when you got my child over there, your other woman better not touch my child. But it's just like you got my child in a whole toxic situation. And it's like you want to tell me not to have this woman that's like securely in my life, who's helping me raise my daughter or son over here, not to discipline her. This is what I tell people. It's the difference between a covenant and a relationship. Now, if you're in a relationship trying to get into a covenant, I can put that in there. But D is in a covenant. Excuse me, Darion is in a covenant. So he has say so there. Now, if you are with someone who allows you to have say so, I'm going to tell you as a man, do not abuse that. Do not try to assert your authority too much. It's going to be a thin line in my mind. You're going to have a thin line. You're going to have to show up, be present, and presence would have to be there. But still, at the end of the day, I'm with y'all. That needs to go back to have a conversation. Now, it's a blessing that she allows you to authority to deal with your kid, because some women are not in that frame of mind. You can't do nothing with my kid. Well, I'm trying to figure out how you think we're gonna be together, because that's you. So I'm gonna be in the house and let your kid disrespect me or talk to me like here, like we two dudes on the street. Nah, that ain't gonna happen. Because if I'm gonna respect your kid, then I'm gonna need that same respect back. But that's a whole nother, I ain't gonna get into the whole can of that, but it can get very convoluted if you don't have, as you would say, Casey, if you're not emotionally mature. Man, if you're not emotionally mature, that situation is not going to.
Wow.
I just cannot see it working. And I'm speaking from experience. I wasn't as emotionally mature then as I am now. So I can definitely speak on it. So it is what
Yeah.
it is.
So
So
basically, what you're saying, being a stepdad ain't for the faint, right?
oh
Ain't that
no,
hard?
nah. Because you know what? You're always going so this is what I'm gonna tell you as a step up. And this is what I had to get over. You're always gonna be number two. Just get used to it. You're gonna be number two. Don't look to be number one. You're always gonna be number two. And you got to play your role as number two. You can get as many assists, you can do all the points, you can do all the commercial ads, you can do whatever, but you're always gonna be number two. Now there are some instances where you move to number one, but the only way you move to number one is if that child moves you to number one. You don't come in with the set authority that, oh, I'm the one. Nah, player, play your role. And I know some people talk against roles and whatever. There's a role in it. But these hit the nail around the head. It ain't for the fake. And if you messing with somebody who's very protective of their child, oh, that's even worse. You always got to be on the look of what you're doing and what you don't. It's not pretty. It's not. But when you date that woman, understand it's a package deal. The child comes with it. You can't have one without the other. That's just totally impossible. I've never thought about that. I don't even like the word step. I used to tell my friends all the time, hey, yeah, that's my step kid. Yo, who? Yo, who? Oh, that's your kid. Because if you take care of him like your kid, that's your kid. And tell me where it says step kid in the Bible, because Joseph didn't call Jesus step, did it? And he knew that he didn't lay that egg. Think about it. I'm just saying. Let's move on with it. So today's topic. This is what I've been trying to get to. Who brought the unicorn to the table? Webby, I'm gonna have you play that in just a second, please. So let me try to put this in perspective. So when I say unicorn, the unicorn represents people who meet all the criteria. So let's just say hypothetically, say y'all think about it, then you just go into your imagination mind. You met a woman, you met a man, and I mean check all your boxes. All your boxes. He does this, he's this, he's that. She's this, she's that, she's that. She thinks this way, she does that, this, and that. I mean, ain't nothing missed. You have a uniform. And they're perfect, right? And you bring them to the table. Now, my first question to you, if you there with me, just stay there with me. My first question to you, and then y'all can answer. You have a unicorn, but I want you to ask yourself a question first. Do you have the capacity to handle the things that are brought to the table by this unicorn? And what I mean by that, understand what I just said. This person is perfect. And we walk around and say there is no such thing as a perfect person, right? But this woman is perfect. But my first question is, as you being on the other side of this table, as you brought this unicorn to this table, did you happen to ever think to yourself, do you have the capacity to handle the things that are brought to the table? And when I tell you what brought to the table, now understand that this man is perfect and you're not perfect. Guess who flaws from to be on the table? That's them. Guess who's gonna get all their cells pointed out and put it on the table? Not only that, and it's something else I want to get into. I'm gonna say this and then we'll play the video. Men and women have egos that can be bruised. The difference is, what is your reaction after the initial shot? Are you coachable and willing to learn when giving feedback that you don't want to hear? What am I saying? The person on the other side of you is perfect. This unicorn you got, oh, fabulous, beautiful, everything that you want. But when he starts telling you, man, you're kind of fat, or you really don't take care of money right, or the stuff you talk about, that don't make no sense. When he start making you see who you really are, and your ego start getting bruised, well, first I'm gonna ask y'all, do women have egos? I do want to ask that question. I've heard that, but I never thought that was true.
We have egos.
I was gonna say we can.
Everybody has an ego,
right?
Really? But okay, so my thing is, majority of the time we normally talk about a man's ego being bruised. I haven't. I'm not gonna say never is absolute. I haven't heard of a woman ever stating or saying in conversation the reason why she reacted to that was because her ego was bruised because you said something about her that she didn't want to say out loud that was true.
Because typically when women are talking about our egos being bruised, is normally attached to motherhood, parenting. You can't tell me I'm a bad parent. You can't judge me or how I parent my kid. That's what we primarily discuss, egos. Work.
But what if you are a bad parent? And I'm telling you, like I'm sitting here with you and I can see like you have real bad experiences.
No.
You still can't tell me I'm a bad mother though.
You can't tell me a bad parent.
That is still an ego. Period. Yeah. I don't care if deep down in my sanctified soul, I don't feel like I know I'm a bad parent. You can't tell me I'm a bad parent. That's going to immediately boost my ego. Period. We have them.
So I think.
So go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think we're talking about two different things. Like women have egos and pride, right? And I think the thing that gets bruised is the pride part, and even in the men, when we're talking about, their pride is hurt, not really so much their ego. It's their pride and their how they present themselves. And because even if you tell a woman that she should just still walk around proud and with that big ego or whatever. But I feel like Webby was saying, like we are more sensitive to how people judge us and how we love versus how, really on when I say love, I mean how we love our children, how we do our jobs, how we, represent everything outside of the household. Because a lot of times we are already submissive in the homes a lot of times. So that's not really a I don't feel like it's a hit to any ego to say, hey, babe, can you do this, or can we do this better, or whatever. And if it's your person, if this person is really perfect, that means that they're perfect for you. And in that process, if they're perfect for you, then that you have a good communication system with them. You know what I mean? So if they don't like something, or they would like for something else to change, I would expect, if this person is perfect for me, then they know how to communicate that to me in a way that I can receive it and create change from it.
So, because I'm extra, I looked up both words, ego and
I
pride.
did too, Libby. I did too.
So first is ego. The definition of ego is a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance, which is why it's difficult to tell a woman that they suck at being a parent, because women equate motherhood, being a woman, motherhood. So yeah, you can't tell a woman she a bad parent. She can tell you she did something wrong that didn't agree, but overall tell a chick that she a bad parent, yeah, that's a no. And pride is two definitions. One says feeling a deep pleasure of satisfaction of one's own achievements, and then the other one is one's own dignity. So yeah. No, but women do have egos, but it's like we said, it's more it's more attached to motherhood, how we parent, work. It's not necessarily within relationships. Pride gets bruised in relationships, but not our egos.
Yeah. If I fail to do that one thing, but it ain't gonna make me.
It ain't gonna make me. Okay.
But if you say I'm a bad parent,
it doesn't define me.
Yeah,
it doesn't define me, right?
To tell someone that they're a bad parent. Because last time I checked, there wasn't a manual, a transcript, a manuscript of follow directions, follow the leader, Jacob climbing the ladder. There wasn't a Bible, a blueprint, or anything that tells folks how to be parents.
So I'm gonna be honest. I know you guys have mentioned the motherhood work. Honestly, my ego is gonna be bruised if you tell me I'm a bad wife. That's just me.
Oh, why?
Because when I'm in, and I do all I can to make sure it works. So I know if I'm giving 100 and that 100 isn't working necessarily for you, that's going to affect me. My ego's going to be a little bruised.
Okay.
I can roll with that, because that's wives, mothers, that's important to women. But we don't have a lot of pride talk between man and woman, because what's gonna affect our ego is not gonna affect the man's ego. Because it's bad.
So do we know that for certain?
I don't know. Well, I'm saying, I'm not speaking in absolutes. I'm saying generally speaking, or oftentimes in some scenarios, men aren't gathered talking about, yeah, I ain't, with my son, I ain't do that right today. But women do.
Oh yeah.
Those conversations with each other.
Even with your
husband. I
husband.
do that right. Or like, girl, yeah, he made me mad today, but I could have done this today.
I think we even do that with our husbands. Like, yeah, I could have handled that better, or I could have said that better, or I could have been nice. I'm sorry. I just was in my feelings. We tend to be more, I don't want to say we, I just say in my relationship, I tended to be more self-correcting, in a sense, when I felt like, oh, maybe I was too harsh, or maybe, I kind of jumped the gun on that, before there was any like, hey, I need you not to do that no more or whatever. Cause, you know, sometimes you're looking at a situation and we can be aggressive and want things our way and the stuff backfire on us. You know what I mean? Or at the end of the day, you think about the things that you did today and it could have just went wrong or just not the way you wanted it to. And if I would have just took a back seat for a moment, it would have worked out better.
So I'm gonna be honest, so when I was married, the state that I was in, I wasn't self-correcting. I blame that joke for everything. Because I thought I was right. I blamed you for everything. Yep, that was you. It wasn't me. It wasn't until I became more mature that I had to stop and reflect on what my part is. So I ask, you give me a moment to digress because I'm processing. And while I'm processing, before we get into this big old argument, which may not be necessary, I'm going to say then, babe, that was on me, my apologies. Still allowing him the floor to have the conversation. But the immature me, I was not, and I mean, I was not self-reflecting on anything. So kudos to you, JJ, for self-reflecting. Because Tiffany wasn't. I was letting him have it. And the only reason why most times I would go ahead and say I'm sorry, because now I just want to make up. So just I'm sorry. So we can get down to the good down.
So you weren't really sorry. You just want to get in.
Tiff, I love that. I love that for you. That get down to the get down. I really like that for you. I think here's the deal. I love that for me as well. But here's a crazy thing. Like, I heard something this morning that I thought, on a serious tip, I heard something this morning that I thought that was like really powerful. Emotions, it was a psychologist that said emotions that are not processed are emotions that tend to get stored.
Indeed.
And so a lot of times, like those behaviors, those reactions are not from new emotions, but ones that instead indeed have been stored and built up over time, right? So even him calling you a bad mother, which is woo, that's you don't do that, right? But like, or vice versa, like it's just parenthood is such a delicate place, right? Like there, and it can generate some of the deepest insecurity because in your mind, you're always wondering, am I doing what's right? Like, am I raising this child right? And for that to be acknowledged as like well, for there to be a response from somebody that you actually care about to say that you are a terrible parent, like that can be a gut punching deal. And yeah, I'll fight you before I hear you at that point. You know what I mean? So that can bring out some things, right? Um, and so I don't know, man. There's a lot of ways to process this. There's a lot of ways to say certain things. I mean, I feel like you can say anything the right way, right? There's a way that you can get your point across without having to come after that person. But there are things now on the flip side that your spouse or your person should be able to say to you that gets you aligned back to who you are called to be, right? Like you may be off, right? You may not be on your game, right? You know, if you're supposed to be watching the kid and you're not watching the kid, you just letting the kid run and terrorize the house, and your spouse say something about that, they're within their right to say something about that, right? You know, so I don't know. I think overall, man, like I think kind of going back to what I posted in the chat, yeah, it does affect us because if it doesn't, I try not to lean to a place to where it's your feelings versus my feelings and my feelings versus your feelings. If you feel something, then if I can internalize it in a way of like, damn, this is something that's going to eventually impact me anyway. So this is a feeling that we got to deal with together, right? Then let's figure out how to deal with that and then get to where Tiff is at. Like, how do we make up for this, right? You know what I mean? How do we move on? But not only make up, but how do we move on in a healthy place? You know what I mean? And how do we establish clear expectations for if this happens again, right? How can I be better? Instead of me calling you a bad mother, how can I offer you some feedback in a way that doesn't offend you necessarily, but is received in a space where we can actually be in a good spot.
Webby, play the clip that I just sent you.
All right.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Since week, and it's awesome. But why is it that every time we pose this question about what it is that we bring to a table, we minimize a man to his ego? Like your ego is not presenting itself whenever you leave with your accolades and your accomplishments. And they talk about it. Because the moment that you present those accolades and a man doesn't show appreciation for the fact that you're leading with those accolades, your ego becomes bruised as well. So let's not act like a woman's ego doesn't become bruised in these situations as well. This is why this conversation is so divisive, and this is the reason why so many dating experiences that are not working. Because when we're having this conversation, everybody has an ego strain. There's some sense of rejection that's going to make your ego show up in a negative manner. Your ego is not a bad thing to actually have. It's your self-protection. Stop minimizing a person's ego, but also your valuation, the estimation of your value of yourself should not be simply because of your accomplishments. That's not what the conversation is about when it comes to the table. Right. But this becomes so divisive because we hear so many women come up and pose this question about the table as if you come through with all of the qualifications on what it's even going to take for you to actually proceed. That's exactly what just happened because I listened to everybody on the panel. That's what happened, and this is the reason why people don't have good dating experiences and why relationships actually fail.
Now, the reason why I want to play it before I say something, for all women, not necessarily the ones on this on the show today, but for all women who do this, to hear this whole thing, oh, you can't tell me I'm a bad mother. Y'all, some of y'all are full of shit. Because some of y'all can tell y'all baby daddies he ain't shit, he ain't a good father, he don't do nothing, he don't amount to nothing, he ain't never did nothing, you don't never show up, you don't never do this. Some of y'all bad now, baby daddies. But then you telling me you can't tell you that you are a bad mother? That is a contradiction.
So,
Because how can you feel to talk about your ego being bruised, or you tell me, as Tiffany said, I'm not, if I tell you you're not a good wife. So did you think about that when you told me I wasn't a good husband? And you laid down the law, and I had to sit there and take it. But in the midst of that, what did I have to do? Now I have to ask questions. Well, baby, why you feel that way? Well, what did I do? See, it's what I did after you bruised my ego. But as soon as somebody say you an unfit mother, or you don't take care of business, or you this, or you that, and start laying all your issues on the table, now your ego bruised, and now you want to play defensive back for the Cowboys. Nah, you can't. Because when it came out your mouth, when it was me, when I didn't show up to pick her up on that day, when I didn't send the child support, or when I forgot to do this, oh, you went in on me and I had to suck all that up like a buttercup. And then now I have to ask questions. That's not my moment to be in my feelings. That's not my moment, as we all said. Oh my God, y'all, let's go Cowboys, go Chiefs. It's not my moment to be all in my feelings and try to come back at you and start throwing daggers. Because now you have pointed out something about me. But did you not know in the midst of that conversation, you just bruised my ego. And out of your men.
So I think my comment on that is two things. One, to kind of digress from a little bit from if this your person, they got to be able to talk to you. There's some maturity that has to go in every relationship. If I think as anybody in any relationship, if you want it to grow and you want it to mature and you want it to move forward, your approach is everything. Like it's not good to go and say, hey, you're a terrible such and such, without it being constructive, in a sense. Like, don't just bring me the accusation, bring the example, and just say, hey, and it's always better to hear what you want from the person versus acknowledge what you want out of that person versus what they're not doing, you know what I'm saying? Or what you think they are. It's like you're defining them as something. Like, for instance, you're saying, oh, you're a bad parent. No, that's not what you want to say to your significant other who you are building with. What you would say is, hey, I wish you would focus more with the kids by being, more interactive with them, asking them questions or playing with them when you're watching them so that they won't destroy the house. You know what I mean? So that you're aware of where they are in the house and what they're doing versus saying, oh, you're just such a bad parent. You don't pay no attention to the kids. Well, that's not really constructive. And it's not a really mature conversation to have with your person who you want to change. If you want it to be better, you got to be specific. And that's to the conversation with the ad about how we lead with our accolades. I mean, sometimes we do. You know what I'm saying? We lead in, we say, hey, I got this, I came in with that, I'm doing this and this and this because I'm D, stop. Stop. You be throwing me off track. But I come in with, all these things, and I think it's just bad how we're taught to date in some senses. Like, we do lead with that sometimes, expecting to see if that person's gonna come with, match that energy or understand that I'm coming to the table and I worked on myself and I've been building for myself and it's important to me. You know what I'm saying? And if they don't acknowledge that, then yeah, sometimes our egos are bruised. But at the end of the day, we're not in this because of our accolades. These accolades will change in your relationship from start to finish. You can start at the bottom or you can start way up high, stop working because you have kids, and then he flourish, or vice versa. Those things can change at any time. But if you don't have that room or space for that to grow into that, then it becomes a big issue because it's still about self instead about us.
Beautifully put.
Well, I'll say this. Don't TJ trick you over there laughing. Why are you laughing, bro? I'll say this. Well, I agree. Well, what if your supervisor can give you a performance review and your ego is not shot after this performance review and you can come back from it? Then why can't we in a relationship have a conversation that's constructive about performance in this relationship, right? And we bounce back from it. You know what I'm saying? But then even as a leader, one of the things that in leadership development I've learned is you can't you want to you don't want all your feedback to be negative feedback. Like if you haven't sold any positive affirmation, and then listen, it's going to be very difficult to offer up negative feedback, especially in an area that a person care a lot about, right? So in what ways are you building that person up, right? You can't just keep tearing the person down every time they make a mistake, right? Without even giving them an opportunity to celebrate the behaviors that you like to see, right? Um, in any relationship, you're not gonna get everything right. There is no such thing as a perfect person. I think we all understand that. And right, can you take feedback, right? Whether it's, you know what I'm saying, like things that may when you were single you did and you did comfortably, right? Whether it's as simple as taking your clothes off and just leaving your clothes on the floor and you'll pick them up in the morning, but and your spouse saying, "I don't, I would appreciate if you pick like when you took your clothes off, if you actually just put the clothes in the dirty clothes versus just leaving them on the floor, right?" Little simple things. Okay, hold on. I'm not going to testify, but here's the deal. Like at the end of the day, like these are little things that, again, when it goes back to that principle, emotions that are not processed become emotions that become stored. And those little things store up over time that and go a lot of times unprocessed and unaddressed, and then those things build up, and then that causes like these bigger blowouts, these little things, right? So,
Mhm.
I think healthy feedback keeps a healthy relationship. You're you're not in it by yourself. This is a relationship that you're in it with somebody else, and like it's just very important, man, that you figure out a way to check your ego and for the greater good of that relationship, especially if you want that person in your life.
You made reference about the employer D, and I definitely get it. But I will say for me, my thinking when it comes to relationships, most of us find it hard to accept anything from a significant other because we don't see them as partners, we see them as enemies. So
That's good. That's
that's
good.
why we have more conflict in relationships than we would at work. Because for work is work. We go, especially if you think like me, I go, I make my money, I come home.
Right.
Home is a sanctuary for me. So where I could probably have a battle at work, I'm definitely not going to battle at home. But unfortunately, we treat our significant others as our enemies instead of our teammates. That's where the problem lies most times.
Bring to the table.
So can I? I'm sorry.
Hold on, before you play that, let her play this last clip because it goes to what Jules
No,
just said.
play it. Go for it.
Go ahead. Thank you, Wendy.
Let me have this. Men, y'all probably really just don't know exactly what a woman brings. Get your pens and paper. Let's talk about the purpose of the table. I'm talking to you, love, with all the beautiful hair. You should. What did you table? Right. Like, sit down and eat at it, right? You have you gather at this table. Let's say I'm your woman, hypothetically. Everyone sitting at this table, either one came in me or came out of me. We can agree on that? Yeah. I'm the purpose for even having the table. Everybody at this table is nurtured, cared for, looked after by me. If I deem you worthy enough to even extend your legacy, which means give you children, consider that an honor and a privilege because parts of me have to die to give you life. There are things in my body that will never be the same after bearing children for you. And you're telling me the least, at the very least, you don't want to take care of me? Nah, I can't. All right.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it could be no family. Family is a family. Like, yeah, if you rent it, you need 3 times the rent. It's a teamwork thing. Because if I lack of, you're supposed to be able to, all right, well, here, this and that. If I'm struggling, or if I can't get it, I need you to get that. It's nothing wrong with that. Like, so it's something wrong with that, baby. It's something. In order for any family to sustain, there has to be balance. You're talking about this 50-50 stuff as if it really exists. If I have to get out of my bed to work 8 hours, 8, 9, 10, 12 hours, which I do right now, and then I have to still come home and I still have to tend to the children, I have to take care of the home, I have to give you sex, I have to stroke your ego, and I have to restore you from all that you've been through throughout the day. What am I left with for myself? You would never be able to outwork a good woman. You should find a capable woman, but you do not want a working woman. When the chips are down, yes, baby, I am capable of rolling up my sleeves and doing what we got to do to get back on our feet. With the notion that once you are stable, you are going to relieve me of that duty because it is not my job. But if I got to get out of my bed and go work for a man, guess what I'm doing? I'm excuse my language, I'm cooking with 2 men because I have to get out of my bed and go appease one at work, do what he tells me to do, follow his orders, get whatever. And then you want me to come home and then appease you? Oh, and then take care of the kids? Oh, then cook and clean? Oh, then you want some sex?
You can stop it, Wendy.
You want all?
So when we was talking about accolades, y'all tell me what y'all heard, because I heard nothing. Now, let me please say this. Yes, Wendy, Your body is never the same when you do give us the honor to have our kids. I definitely understand. I don't disagree with that one iota because your body go through a lot of changes. And I'm saying it because I've had the issue of having a kid and the person having a miscarriage. So I understand your body goes through a lot. So I would never, and I'm speaking absolute, never question that piece of what the young lady said. But when she said, eat everything at this table. So I'm moving from the ego to the table because you brought this unicorn to the table, right? This is a perfect person. Meet all your criteria. But she said things at this table either came in me or came out of me. I am the purpose. So, correct me if I'm wrong, if you're talking about relationships, if you're talking about moving forward as a unit together, when do we stop using I and mine and yours instead of us and we? When does that happen? Because to me, as she was saying all that, the first thing I got in my mind was, oh, so either she's not a good teammate. She would never be a good partner. She's a solo partner just by her language, period. And what you said earlier, KC, is exactly why I played it. That sounds more like your enemy, not your partner, just from her dialogue.
It was just a lot of words. It was a lot of words used for me that literally made me cringe. And if I deem you worthy, I was like, oh, wow. So I guess it's golden heels up in there. I guess so.
She's like a unicorn. She's perfect.
Listen, I get in trouble by a lot of women regarding statements that I make. That whole I give you children, women don't give men children, men give women children. Let's be very clear. Men get every ball to rolling, everyone, when it comes to having children, when it comes to marriage, unless you out here proposing to a man. Don't do that, ladies. But if you are, okay. But they get the ball to rolling in all things. If the temperature is not set in that home, it's chaos in that home, men check you first. Don't go check the woman. You set the tone. So if you need that 90 to come back to 70, see what you did first. Because we all know if we are believers in Christ, because I'm a church girl, is God, husband, wife, kids. That's how it goes. So there were things that she said I don't necessarily agree with. You know, Greg, I am one, hate that table conversation.
Yes, you do.
When it comes to being a helpmeet, if you do lose your job, I step in to help you with that. Once you get back on your feet and we're on a great playing field at the end of the day, my help shifts somewhere else. I don't get to take my ball and go back to the room and act like I have nothing else to do no more. That's not what helpmeet is. Helpmeet is once I'm done helping in that area, my help shifts somewhere else to that area and so forth and so on. So again, I don't completely disagree with everything she said, but I do not agree with a lot of what she said. It's a team at the end of the day. It's something I heard a good friend of mine say, do you want to be right or do you want peace? I choose peace. So I'm not going to battle about everything.
Listen, she the type.
Saying something, bro.
Yeah, I was trying to get Webby to define help me. But here's the deal. If she's the type that will set the table, put some food out for herself, maybe even feed the kids, and tell you to go make your own food. Like, baby, you ain't make me nothing to eat? No. I feed me and my kids. You know what I mean? And and it's so crazy, right? Like, here's the deal. Like, we talk a lot about the table, right? And we talk about what's on the table, but we don't talk about like whose responsibility it is to clean the table, whose responsibility it is to reset the table. We At the end of the day, in any relationship, right? More than roles, like these role deals, I think above that is agreement. What do you guys agree on, right? And as a leader, like of a household, as a man, we do carry a lot of responsibility. We're not sometimes as good at verbalizing like the impact of that responsibility and what like it has on our life. And take it, coming from a single mom, like, it took me leading a household now to understand that she shouldn't have never did that by herself. It it's like, yo, like, I look at it and I'm like, "Man, it is by the grace of God that my mama was able to raise us the way that she did by herself," right? While understanding how important it is that you have that foundation in the household, those two parents in the household. So if the kids are seeing that there's no unity amongst the heads of the house, the two people, right? Then how are you going to expect them to have unity? How are you going to expect them to be able to put into practice loving other people well? When the two people that they see in the household can't even love each other well, they can barely talk to each other, right? So I don't know, man. It's a ton of thoughts I have toward that, but I don't. I think you see this like from an ego perspective. You see this in a lot of areas, but you also see this with money, and I see this with how money shows up. Like, well, it went from I got paid today to we got paid today. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard for a person, right? Especially if they feel like they make a lot of money. Like, or you make more than me. Listen, we made this, right? Not just you, my friend. We made this, right? So it's just perspective, to say the least. But I don't want to ramble. But yeah, that's to me, it's just perspective, to say the least.
Ladies, anything? Ah. Now, something I do want to touch on, and we can do that next show. Maybe that'll be the title of the next show. When she said 50-50, 50-50, she said 50-50, they think 50-50 is a real thing. Is it not? Is it not a real thing?
It's not.
Or is it? It's not a real thing? Oh, that sounds like that's what we're talking about. I love what I'm hearing. Because I want to know, how is 50-50 not a real thing?
50-50 is not a real thing. It's not growth. It's not building. If you come to a relationship, you need to come with your whole self. And you ain't giving half of nothing. Ain't nobody paying half of nothing. When you come together especially when you're married, it's all joint. You're supposed to be growing into one. What is his is mine, and what is mine is his. There is no half of this and half of this. You pay for half of this and I pay for half of that. No, even if you are unequally paid, all that money going to one pot is your money, my money. It's all together.
I agree with you. So that's how it's supposed to. Now, the only reason why I have questions is because now you have individuals, so like the unicorn. The unicorn makes six figures. The unicorn, I need a man to take care of me. What if you need a man to take care of you, if I'm bringing all of me to this table, then what you bringing? See, your
Everybody can
words
have.
are not all women. I'm playing on the word of when people say, I want some women to say, I need a man to take care of me. Like she even said that. When we get to a stable place, then I can put what I'm doing and then you can take care of me.
But not every
It was
woman wants that lifestyle. That's why that
true.
that perfect person is,
Mm-hmm.
or that unicorn is a unicorn
Mm-hmm.
for you. It's not necessarily what's your unicorn ain't my unicorn.
Mm-hmm. And
You're
some
not a
people have
unicorn because you make 6 figures, bro. 6 figures
No.
don't even stretch like it used to. Like
Nah,
honestly, like you know what I
that's not
mean?
even unicorn,
Like,
bro. That's not even
yo, yeah.
unicorn.
Because here's the thing, you can have. Listen, you can make 40,000 and look like and be a better steward of 40,000 than somebody is with 6 figures, right?
Exactly.
Like
Mm-hmm. Yep.
the money is just is a result of you of God's favor on your life, and even with any ounce of
Not
favor
even
of
that.
your on your life, right? Like you have to be a good steward of what you have. That's what the
Mm-hmm.
Bible teaches us, right? So it's more or less about stewardship than it is on money. So that doesn't mean that like a person with bread can allow their bread to be the thing that they use to mask really who they are.
Yep.
And if you are going for their money, like, you know, then you can that's how you'll get that representative that you guys talk about over,
Mm-hmm.
actually getting a good person. Now, it is a blessing to find someone that is a 6 figure person, but that's also more than that, they're a good steward of their resources. And that is a blessing. But yeah, man, that 50-50 talk just to me just don't exist, man. It just to me it's about being one. And I think Tiff, what is that scripture that talks about a house divided, right? Like finances can be a form of a house being divided. Like,
Indeed.
uh, and so yeah, I don't know, man. I just think about that because I seen my marriage shift, full testimony, when we went from thinking separately because we both came from single parent households to
Mm-hmm.
really coming together and making everything one. God blessed one. He didn't bless. There's no way you can have a covenant and it not be one. You know what I
Mm.
mean? Just in my opinion. So
And
There's
yeah.
this
people who disagree with that. People, go ahead.
that's Matthew 12, 22 through 28. For anybody that
Yeah.
wants to read it, a house divided cannot stand, and it's so true. But going back to,
Mm.
I don't remember who actually said it, my apologies. But when I hear men or women, because I hear men say it too, I want a woman who does this, I want a man who has that. What are they coming to? Are you giving what you're asking for?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
That
Mm-hmm.
part.
It
Right.
that's the part that in most cases it brings me to a story, and Tricky and I spoke about it, and it's the story of Boaz in the Bible. And it speaks of, so I kept hearing women, Boaz, 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 I want him, I want him. And when I went to go do the research on who he was, or he was just a gentleman. He saw what he wanted in Ruth and he went to go get her. But he saw her working, he saw her
Mhm.
faithful, he saw her committed. So if he did not see her in that capacity, would he have gone to get her? I think a lot of men and a lot of women don't understand that a man has to see a wife before he makes her one. A woman has to see a husband before she says yes.
Mm.
So if we don't have that kind of thinking, what are we doing? And unfortunately, we have marriages dissolve because we're enemies. I just say yes because I've been dating you for 10 years. Well, you a fool for dating somebody for 10 years and they ain't put a ring on it until now. We 5 kids deep and we just now getting married. And I'm sorry if someone is offended, but you can't date me that long. And then we don't stay married before a year and a half. That's crazy to me. That makes no sense. But you have to be able, if you're asking for this particular man or woman, you have to be able to be the person you asking for. Or just don't ask. Go
Can
get
I
you
say
a
this
less,
real
Or
quick?
go
not
get you a
necessarily.
less
Oh,
desirable person. Or
Not
what you
yeah.
say,
necessarily.
Lil Webby?
Less
Less
favorable.
less
That's
favorable.
favorable.
Go get one of them who's fine with y'all playing games until
Right.
y'all just
Mm.
be there.
Situationship.
Or in
So,
that same story, just to piggyback on that story, is Ruth positioned herself. So if you want that, then you need to position yourself and get the skills and be in the place that you need to be in and do the things that you're supposed to do to get what you want.
Jules, tag me in real quick.
Tag.
So check this. It's Ruth would have never been found without Naomi. Ruth was in the field because Naomi coached her
Pattern.
to be there.
Listen,
Yeah.
Ruth got to the bed with Boaz because
Because Naomi
Naomi told her
told.
what to do,
There you
right?
go.
Many times you got people that are trying to be wives without being developed or being coached, right? Or being mentored. Same with husbands. Like you got fatherless sons learning how to be a husband when he's a husband. You got, oh shoot, you got daughters who got mama's strength, right?
Mhm.
And some for some of these cases, like mama wasn't married, or mama was divorced, or mama was hurt, right? And that's all subconsciously that woman know. And then you bring those two things together, and then they try to figure it out.
Mhm.
And for many of us, that's the African American story sometimes, not in all cases, but in some cases, that's just so true. But to that story, Boaz anticipated for all the men, he anticipated her needs.
Mm.
If you really want to lean into that story, study how Boaz was the kinsman redeemer and understand truly what that means.
Mm-hmm.
And in addition to that, you got to remember Ruth is the thing might be Ruth, but the main character in that story is
Naomi.
Naomi.
It is. And that's that wisdom, like having people around you that know already and have the added
Mm-hmm.
experience to be able to
Mm-hmm.
trust them to be able to direct you. Like even with your parents who have experience or have been married and they see this guy you date and they like, baby, he not for you. And you still keep on dating him. You still keep on. And instead of turning around and say, Mama, what should I do? Or why not? Why not so? What am I missing or what should I be looking for? You know, there's wisdom in that.
Yeah. Everybody you speak is not always wise. But you're right. There is wisdom in that.
Indeed.
I definitely agree. Speaking, I kept y'all too long. All right, let's do it. Let's do 2 minute drill. I'm gonna get y'all out. Ooh, the conversation got good. We're gonna talk about that 50-50. I like that. I like that because I've heard something about 50-50. And it's just interesting to hear your thought, to hear y'all thoughts about it. And I want to make sure we bring that to the table. I think it's excellent. However, this is when you do your 2 minute drill. And 2 minute drill is basically when you have your last, what would you say? Your last 2 minutes to say whatever you like to say. Bring it to the table or whatever, or leave our guests with. So let's start. Come on, Jules. Give me your 2 minutes.
All right. I just want to say, when out here dating, just keep an open mind and an open heart about, what you want and, what you expect and, be upfront and honest. That's it.
Appreciate it. Look, wait.
Be the person that you want.
Excellent. Straight to the point. Say
Heal yourself.
it again. I'm sorry.
I said heal yourself. Make
Love
sure
it.
you come to the table with emotional intelligence. And I hate that table word, but being aware of who you are helps quite a bit. Actually, it helps a lot.
Yes. And of course, D always takes us out. So I'm going to say unicorns are imaginary, just like some of your expectations that people have, but can't live up to. Don't force me to eat something you won't eat. D.
As I'm leaving this conversation. I can't even talk. Leaving this conversation. First, thank y'all for just all your perspectives. I think it's great to always just hear wonderful perspectives. But then two, I'm a challenge to men. Like one of the greatest challenges is empathizing and putting yourself in your woman's shoes. If she is doing all of these things, man, there's something to what she's trying to communicate that you got to understand, right? And it's important that you seek to understand before seeking to be understood. Because if you don't, what you'll do is you'll create bitterness and you'll make it hard for her to follow you. And so I'll just say that I think for a future conversation, a good future conversation is the adjustment and the expectation of a wife or a woman who works from home. Because at the end of the day, you think because she worked from home that now she's a housewife. No, she's still at work. So at the end of the day, at the end of the day, yeah, that's just a funny one. But nah, that's my 2 minutes though. Really seek to understand before being understood.
And before you speak, Tricky, thank you all for allowing me to be on this show.
No problem, OG. You started when we was sitting in an apartment.
Come back.
Redoing it, doing the whole house. Now you're still here. So I definitely appreciate you. You know, it was some tough times. Everybody went through, some stuff was revealed. But it's good to see you on the other side of all that. So I'm glad we can help. You know, the show is always here. Whenever the OG need to come back. Hey, I said I want to do an OG show so I can get everybody else back, but the schedules are different. But yeah, other than that, man, let me get out the way. D, give us something quick, man, please.
All right. Thank you, Lord, for your grace, your mercy, your mindfulness of us. God, thank you for you knew this conversation before we had it. So we just pray that God, we just want to align with your will and not our own. God, we pray for each and every person and every family represented, every listener, every one that's processing something. God, because of what Jesus did on the cross for our sins, we don't have to process this alone. And so, God, I just pray that you will continue to forgive us for our sins and that, God, that people will know that you are there. You are forever present with us and that you hear all of the things that are said and unsaid, meaning that you care and love us so much that you're willing to go to the ends of the earth or actually the ends of eternity for us. But thank you for all that you do until we all meet again. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Appreciate you, big bro. Look, you know how to think big, believe in God, because he definitely believes in us. I live by 2 mantras. Faith and fear cannot dwell in the same place. And while you're on this side, till you get to the other side, remember to always love, live, laugh. On behalf of our fine piece of jewelry, Miss Jules, of course, our assistant P, FLPC, and graduates, none other than Lil Webby, put some respect on the name, OGKC, and my boy forever, tied twice and two in a whole lot of ways. We are like two brothers, but never from another mother. Mr. Darion Lewis, Black History. Don't look him up. He's really Black History. We appreciate you joining me. Hope you like the show. Hope you got something from it and took something for you to have a conversation wherever you are. That is the basis of what we're doing. And D, redefine the whole mission statement. We want to make you as couples better. But not only that, make you as yourself a better human being so you can be better and then you can do what God does for us. Be the light that we need to shine for someone else who may be going through what we've already went through. We appreciate you joining us right here on the Full 180. Catch us every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. I will do better than that. It's not the crew, it's me. And until next time, have a good night. Be safe. Thank you for joining.